reporting on the games you love by people who love to game. The MMO Reporter Network.
You're logging into your favorite game, grinding out some gear. A couple of points added to your stats, and you have a virtual beer. Max level is pretty cool, but I'll remind you here, my friend. These games are not about the goal, it's about the journey and not the end.
You're listening to MMO Reporter, brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download at audibletrial.com/MMO Reporter. And by Doghouse Systems. Choose your weapon with Doghouse Systems.
Don't forget about your ults you need to cherish. Each and every little character you've got, no matter what level they're at. Don't forget about your ults.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of MMO Reporter. This is episode 211. I'm Chris, and I am joined by the master of the hot tub time machine as we head way, way back in time to a time when there were only two hosts on the MMO Reporter podcast. Hello, Bill.
I really like that you went with the hot tub time machine instead of Back to the Future, because I mean the Back to the Future was just that would have been the easy one, but
that's right. That's right.
Good move. I approve.
Thank you.
Well,
thank you. Now we have to. Oh, sorry, I interrupted.
I was just going to say happy Monday.
Happy Monday. Now what we need to do is get drunk and fall in a hot tub.
Yes.
Yeah, but not together, though, because that'd be weird.
One thing at a time.
Okay, one thing at a time.
Let's get drunk first.
That's something we'll have to do in the summer months here, have a inebriated MMO Reporter podcast. That will be fun for Harry as he gets up 6 o'clock in the morning
it's
going to
be a
sauce.
He's going to have his special coffees and yeah, fun is probably not the word.
It will happen. It will happen.
You know when the time to do it is probably going to be with Extra Life. Like, because here's the way I see it. If we start drinking at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, that's when we could drag Harry into it and have him stumbling all over the stage and everything like that. Yeah. And the only downside is when it rolls around to 7 or 6:30 in the morning. In addition to being utterly exhausted, we're going to be hungover as well.
Well, but either that or we just can't stop drinking, and that scares me.
That would be even worse. I have a very clear line.
Don't stop and just keep going.
To me, it's binary. There's drunk and happy, and then there's really, really unhappy. There's no scale. There's no warning. It just happens.
I've been around for that. All right, let's get away from both drunkenness and hot tubs and start talking about MMOs, because we've got some stuff to talk about this week, Bill.
Sure do.
What have you been doing in game?
Well, predictably, I feel like we should be running a contest that says, what has Bill been playing this week? The only problem with that contest is everyone's going to win every single flipping week.
Okay, but how come nobody makes fun of you when you play Guild Wars 2 week after week? When I played WildStar or even Rift again and again and again, I was mocked mercilessly.
Because you did it first. And... You broke the ice. We're all following you in our
right
on rails gaming experience. But yes, I played Guild Wars 2. I've learned a little bit of a money making trick that I'm almost afraid to say out loud, but it's actually so simple and obvious that I really should have known it anyway. But I'm starting to craft for gold, basically. So I'm looking for I look through the auction house and I look online at some trading post or Blackline trading post aggregators to search for basically any items that are selling for above what their components cost, and just do a little bit of crafting and sell my stuff. And I've actually made, I think, more gold in the last 5 days than I'd made in the previous 5 weeks.
See, but that seems like work.
It's actually not. It actually takes less time And it's a good way to get my like I've been actually leveling my crafting doing that. The downside is when you start getting into making exotics and that kind of thing, it's a bit of a risk because you have to assume there's a bit of a demand for what you're trying to make, and there isn't always one. So
yeah, it just again though, I didn't say it was time consuming. It just seems like work rather than fun.
It's a thing that I did. Like basically what I do, like my typical session these days is basically doing world boss runs all over the place, and world bosses go like every 15 minutes basically.
Right.
You can't, in the time that it takes you to finish one world boss, you almost have to rush to the next one in order to catch it. And that can make for a pretty fun play session if you're into doing stuff with 100 of your closest Guild Wars 2 friends.
Right.
And then when that's done, or when I get tired of that, I'll sit down, and for the 20 minutes at the end, I'll sort out my inventory. I'll auction off the stuff that I got from those world boss runs that I don't want to keep, and then I'll craft a couple things, throw them on the auction house, and the next day, bang, there's a bunch of gold waiting for me.
All right, Midas, if you say so.
Yeah, like don't get me wrong, this isn't like a super secret tip that's hidden from the universe or that people have that people are clamoring to gather here or something. This is more like me doing something that probably everybody else already does, and I just learned this trick 3 years later.
Yeah. All right. So what else? Did you play?
Also, predictably, I played a little bit of Elite Dangerous, and I finally got my Advanced Discovery Scanner, so I can scan for entire systems as soon as I jump in now.
Nice.
Yes! Sorry.
A little bit happy about that?
I was just going to say, it's the Discovery Scanner. That's totally what I'm happy about.
Hey, Bill. Bill, 1-1.
Hey? Yeah, oh, thank you. I didn't even notice.
In case you're wondering, there may be a hockey game on right now, and yeah, we're Canadian. It's in the blood.
I'd just like to drop a little bit of Game of Thrones, like the Hound is one of my favorite characters.
Uh-huh.
And to borrow from him a little bit, the Kings.
And there's that at point number one. Although I agree with you wholeheartily. Yeah. Anyways, Elite Dangerous, Advanced
Elite
Scanners,
Dangerous,
yes.
Yep. So I'm actually really interested in doing the galaxy discovery and being a kind of an explorer and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But before you get that Advanced Discovery Scanner, which is very expensive, it's about 1.5 million credits on its own, and it bumps the rebuy cost of your ship, or at least on a Cobra, up to it bumped mine by over 80,000 credits. So every time I die, my ship used to cost about, I don't know, 20,000 credits to rebuy. Now it's over 100,000 to rebuy.
Oh, so wow.
I have to make sure I keep some money in the bank, but it's the old way of kind of discovering new items or new areas in a system that don't show up on your immediate scan by flying in a certain direction and looking for parallax movement for the lights that are coming at you and everything like that. You have to look at these infinitesimally small lights moving just an infinitesimally small amount, and it was painful. And now it's just heaven. I love going and grabbing every single corner of the thing. It's actually a little bit of an adventure still because I get interdicted from time to time. I'll bug out and do a little mini instance and that kind of thing. So it's not boring, but it's
right.
As you might expect, flying for 15 minutes through empty space could be. It's actually kind of cool. So having fun with Elite Dangerous there, but now I think my next goal is I'm basically going to do some heavy duty exploring, and I'm going to try to hit the $30 million mark so I can buy a big fancy new ship. So there's that.
I know that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, in addition to that, catching a little bit of news, I know you got excited a little bit about the drone discussion that came up on the April Fool's Day dev post, which was not an April Fool's post. It was actually legitimate, and I love Frontier for that. Thank you for not diving into the inane stupidity of April Fool's Day, which we'll talk a little bit more about later. But yeah, they talked a little bit more about how the drone system. It's been been out there for a while that drones were likely to appear in the next patch. But we didn't know what form they were going to take. But they talked about them a bit here. There's going to be gathering drones for basically drones to help you quickly gather up space fodder. So your pirates and that kind of thing needing to quickly gather up their stuff before the fuzz arrives. They're going to have mining drones, so making mining, taking the worst 80% of mining and assigning drones to it.
The worst 99.9% of mining, you mean?
That's probably true, because there's even a little bit of fun to standing still and shooting a rock.
Yes.
It's a little bit of that.
Guarantee then, my type not. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, I will.
I was just going to say, and then you have to stop shooting to go and pick stuff up, which is just annoying.
In your big ass Type 9, which is not very maneuverable. Mm-hmm. It's not fun. So I guarantee you that I'm going to take my Type 9 out of mothballs. It's currently sitting in storage, has been for a while. And I will take it out of storage, and I will buy myself some drones, and I will go out, and I will be the kingpin of mining. Then when I'm done that, I'm going to go buy myself a nice expensive warship, and I'm going to go pirate all those miners, because you know they're going to be out there without any protection, and I will be rich.
Well, unfortunately, you're going to have to account for rebuying all your drones in there too, because the one thing they mentioned is that drones are going to be consumable items.
Don't care.
So you shoot your drone out, it collects something, and then for some reason it dies. And normally I don't care if it's a rebuy thing or a reload or a recharge. I don't mind that so much, but it's just. It's a little bit lore breaking for a game that's like fairly physically true, like true to physics and systems and that kind of thing, as much as a space fighting game can be.
Yeah.
That seems like a weird thing. Like, why does your drone die? That does just because
sadness, Bill. Sadness.
It is very sad picking up other people's junk, and I guess, I hope they revisit that idea. That's what the thread, and we'll have a link to the thread in the show notes. But that's what the people that aren't like. There's a lot of positive stuff in the thread, which is a little bit surprising for an Elite Dangerous forums thread.
Yeah.
But the people who aren't positive are complaining about the disposable drones or the self-destructive drones. Which like I said, I sort of agree with. And there's Mac client too, so all you users are going to be able to play.
Mac beta's out. Yeah, I think it would be fun to. The drones were bought at Walmart. They're disposable. I think that we are going to have to get a posse together. We're going to have to go out and we're going to be pirates for a bit and take out some mining ships. Either that or you all can be my protection racket, and or not racket, but be my protection, and I can send some money your way for keeping people off my butt.
As long as we don't just run into each other and stuff.
Oh, you jerk. Still can't believe you ran into me, like right into me. Not even just a little bit. It's like, hello, let me say hello, thunk.
Well, that's sort of, I mean, it was mostly on purpose. I saw it was kind of happening because you weren't moving, and I thought about moving, and I thought, this is a good way to say hello in Elite Dangerous. Thunk.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, you had a really, really, really busy week playing this week, Chris. So take a deep breath. If you got a drink, maybe have a little sip, do that, get yourself ready, and then you can tell me about all the games you played this week.
You know what? I streamed the same game, and this is the most I've ever streamed in a week. Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night. Same game, all 4 nights. Although I think the Thursday night, I literally fell asleep in my chair. So I ended that stream a little bit earlier. But I did stream Neverwinter on the Xbox. It has launched on the Xbox One. And I went through and I made it to almost level 20 in those 4 nights. I have to say, I'm not going the fastest. I did get a little bit ahead of sort of the crush of sort of, ooh, what's this? Try it out, people. I'm far behind the rush of, oh, wow, max level, go, people.
Yeah.
But I'm right in the middle there, so that means queues suck. I queued for a dungeon. It took me like 20 minutes. I just need to level a bit more. But I am having fun. It translated very well to the Xbox. I'll be putting out a video with my full thoughts. I'm not ready to... I don't really like giving scores anyway. I do think even at this early point, though, that as it is a free-to-play game, it is worth every penny. And everyone should definitely try it out. If you've got an Xbox One and you like MMOs, you should be trying out Neverwinter on the Xbox. Well worth trying out. Worth spending money on? We'll go into that in my video and see what I think there.
It's a good game to play even if you don't have an Xbox. Like, it's one of those MMOs
I
you
was
talked about before.
gonna go
It's
into
one of
that,
those games that, that's, it's always fun when you play, and when you stop playing, you sort of forget about it. But when you come back, you think, why haven't I been playing this more?
Exactly. Although tomorrow night, it'll be, it will have passed by the time that this podcast goes live. I'm streaming with Patrick the guys over at Lorehound. We're going to be streaming some Neverwinter tomorrow night, Tuesday night. So that's going to be a lot of fun doing it for their one of their shows. So I'm looking forward to that, and that's on PC. So I get to play my cleric again, which is near level 40. He's level 39 3/4. So I'm going to pop a couple of levels into him before then, and really enjoying it. But yeah, it's the two MMOs that I really think transferred fantastically or work really well are Final Fantasy XIV and Neverwinter. And if I had to choose one out of those two to play, they're completely different consoles too, so that doesn't make it any easier. I'd choose Neverwinter. I just enjoy it more. I think Neverwinter is more actiony, and Final Fantasy is more straight up high fantasy, typical MMO, and you get all that on the in Final Fantasy XIV. This is much more of a lighter MMO on Xbox, especially no Foundry, no user-created content, or even the chance to play through user-created content on the Xbox.
That's got to be a thing that's maybe a someday thing.
Yeah, well, I don't know if they could in that particular setup. I don't know. I'm just... Nah.
I'm assuming Xbox and PC worlds don't cross paths.
They do not cross paths. You cannot transfer characters. I cannot transfer the 2.5 million astral diamonds that I have over there, which are a form of currency which you can use, and those are refined astral diamonds, I might say. You can people who
kind is there.
You get them unrefined, and then you have to refine them. Okay. You can use that to transfer it into the store currency, so I could buy stuff. That's enough for me to buy pretty much all but the most expensive stuff in the store, and I can't transfer that over to Xbox. It's completely separate. Although they still made you link your Arc account. Well, what bonus? I got a bonus companion. Woo! Yeah, illusionist. I did get a cleric as my companion. You want to know what I named him? Because you get companions in Neverwinter, and they follow you around, and they do stuff. There's, clerics, and there's tanks, and there's damage dealers. There's a mage, the illusionist, and stuff. Do you want to know what I named my cleric?
I'm sort of hoping it's some take on Banff.
Nope.
Oh.
I named him Jeff Healy. Because he heals me.
Oh, God. I can't believe that long that took me to get.
I think the stream thought it was funny when I named him.
Oh, yes, it is hilarious. That's my fault for sitting there staring dumbly at the screen when you said that.
Yeah. So...
Yes. Well played, dad joke. Well played.
I know, right? I got 4. All right, so before we move on to the news, I want to thank our 25 fantastic patrons, and we actually had a really cool message on Twitter. I don't always bring this up, but it was really nice, sent out on April Fool's Day, and Artful at ARTPHUL said, "Not an April Fool's joke. I'm supporting at MMO_reporter. Patreon, wish I could do more. Thanks. And he added the Guild Wars Reporter folks and Celeste and Lona. So thanks, Artful. That's fantastic.
That's wonderful. It almost makes me feel bad when people say they wish they could do more, because even just a little bit it absolutely makes my day. It's such a wonderful thing when someone is willing to become a patron for the show. It really makes it's
yeah.
People like us.
Yeah, and if anybody's ever wondering what we do with that, a lot of it goes towards gear. And send out to do the PAX coverage that we do, as well as covering all the games that we get and paying for those and all that sort of stuff. And I do like to send money out to all the podcasters when I can. So that's where all the money goes from that. And the more that you can support us, the better we can do.
Yeah, and the PAX stuff too. Like, yeah, I mean, obviously we have a lot of fun at PAX. It's a good time to go, but I don't think it's easy to miss how much hard work it is. Like, I know Chris is bouncing around all day, every day. Like, he's hustling and carrying equipment and making appointments and like it's not like a play holiday or anything like that. It's actually probably as much work as he does at his day job, I would think.
A little bit more, but it's so much fun to see. What I like is the comments that are made afterwards on YouTube, on the site, on Twitter, all that sort of stuff. That's sort of what gives me energy. I can't talk for anyone else, but it's really, really cool. So thank you to all of our patrons. We're at 25. We would love, my sort of unofficial goal for us is to hit 30. I want to hit 30 sort of in the next few weeks. That would be absolutely fantastic. So if you can help us out, check out patreon.com/MMO Reporter.
Saying you'll go deep is not the words I want to hear from you. It's not that I don't trust you, not to say, but if you only...
Well, Bill, the day that we thought would never happen has come upon us. WoW goes free to play. No, it doesn't.
Oh.
Close-ish. It's close-ish. Yeah, this is a system that was, I think, pioneered by Eve, brought into play. I think one of the next big ones to do it was WildStar, then Rift, bringing in this idea of buying a monthly token of some sort for in-game gold. They call it Plex in... No, not Plex in Eve. What do they call it in Eve?
Yes.
It is Plex in Eve? Okay.
Plex.
Yeah, Plex in Eve, Cred in WildStar. I forget what they call it in Rift now. But you can buy these tokens with real-world money, and then you can your character in-game gets this token, and you can sell it on the auction house. And usually these are completely player-driven. That is that the token price is set by the auction house economy. If people are willing to pay 50 million e-credits for this token, then they will pay 50 million Rex. Thank you. Hagu is saying it's Rex in Rift, the Rift exchange. If they're willing to pay 51 kajillion e-credits for it, then they'll pay that much. So it's usually set completely by the in-game economy, but they're doing something a little bit different with WoW. You'll pay $20 US or $25 Australian for this token, and then you'll be able to put it up on the auction house, but they're having some control over the price of this token, and it's going to start for 30,000 gold in-game on the auction house, but it will automatically fluctuate based on player supply and demand. So you're not going to be setting your own price for the token in the auction house. You're going to put it up there, and then the game will automatically set the price based on player supply and demand. So if there is a huge supply, then the cost will be lower. If there is a huge demand, then the cost will be higher. And OD Joe in the chat room also mentioned Apex in Arcade, which is the Arcade exchange, their version of that same currency.
I wonder what the X at the end is.
Exchange.
No, yeah. That seems so boring. I want to think that there's some
I
kind of
know.
like deep industry
I know.
conspiracy to like totally rip off every other
Yeah.
game. And
Hey,
and there's,
WildStar went with cred, so there you go.
I guess perhaps it's too hard to say.
So the story on the website, the post on the website said that you were going to be limited to buying 10 of these in a 30-day period. But here's the thing that they didn't say. They didn't say whether it was buying 10 of them for real-world money or buying 10 of them for in-game gold. It might be both. You might not be able to stock up on 1 million of them when the price is low. You'll only be able to get 10. That's still 10 months worth of game time. Or if you're going to play the auction house, you could buy these low and sell them high. And right?
I gotta believe, yeah, that's less for hoarding purposes and that kind of thing, and more for people kind of gaming and establishing the market, if you will.
Yeah.
This is just to make sure that you can't have one person or even one guild or one group of people who totally drive the price of these things through the roof, or totally bring it down to like dirt cheap levels. Although that would basically be people throwing real money away to screw up the WoW economy.
Yeah.
Which,
so this
I
is
don't know.
going to be...
there's dumber things in the universe to do with your money.
Well, but
I
there's
guess.
people who have millions of gold, who have, like, they hit the gold cap, right? Which is whatever the hex number is that they can get up to in the database. And they could buy a ton of these. And the 30-day is soul bound. So once you buy it, it's soul bound. So you can't sell it again. So there you go. So I'm guessing. Thanks, Hagu in the chat room said that 30-day is soul bound. So once you buy it off the auction house, you can't trade it again. So there you go. There's no resale market.
I wonder how that works. I wonder how that works when your account is expired. So let's say I'm playing along and my time card is run out and I'm out of luck. Like, I wonder if there's going to be a mechanism for you to go and hit the auction house.
Scroll?
For you to be able to go onto the auction house and spend the gold that you've got in your expired account to get yourself another 30 days. Or if you're going to have to drop another $15 for your month subscription or $20 for another token or whatever.
That's the problem. Other games have shown, and Acre 2007 is saying 10 million gold per toon is the cap. So you could buy a lot of these things. You could never, ever have to. There's people who will never, ever have to pay for WoW again. Where was I going with this? I forget. Good job, Acre 2007.
Whether people are going to be able to resurrect a dead account.
Right. Sorry. Thanks for reminding me. This has been shown in other games, and every single one I've seen has been you gotta pay to get in. Some games that have like a comeback trial, people have been able to do that. But every other game that I've seen, I haven't seen the exception. Chat room can correct me here. They've been doing a great job of that. They showed a login screen with the subscribe for gold dialogue. Look at that, Hagu. You were on top of things tonight, man. Good job. So there you go. So they're ahead of you, Bill. A login screen with a subscribe for gold dialogue. That is absolutely fantastic. This is going to be available April 7th, which by the time the show launches will have gone live, immediately following maintenance for anyone who is in the chat room right now. So there you go. And also, Bill, you found this. World of Warcraft is on sale right now. You can get the WoW package for $9.99, which includes up to Mists of Pandaria, and then Draenor is 25% off, $37.49 US. That's a pretty good deal.
I suspect they're probably trying to extend the buzz of people who popped into Draenor and are maybe starting to tail off now. So otherwise, we're going to start seeing all those same stories about how WoW is dying because their subscription base is dropping, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, I do think that, the people who are having all this gold would not necessarily, like, I understand what the play is for WoW, sort of, but I also understand that this is too late for them to really make much money off of this. The people who are going to spend the ease with which you can exchange time for gold in WoW at a very, very favorable rate, the people who want all that gold can probably get it already fairly simply. So I wonder if this is simply too late for this game, and they're doing this as a test for the technology further down the road for other projects.
Either that, or this is their way of, I think, trying to keep people engaged in World of Warcraft, so that when the next expansion happens, that they've got a whole bunch of people who have WoW momentum and are getting excited for the expansion and that kind of thing. Trying to keep those people engaged, because maybe they've kind of accepted that there's just a bunch of people that are going to drop off at the end of the expansion, but the more that they can keep engaged, the more relevant they stay and the more expansion boxes they sell.
That could be very, very true, and it's easier to keep people engaged in at the raid, even the LFR raid progression, involved in the story, so that as they did going into Warlords of Draenor, push the story in a certain direction, people are involved in that, and then they want to find out what happens. That's actually, I hadn't thought about that. I feel really stupid now.
That's okay. At least you didn't miss an obvious dad joke.
That's true. So I'm wondering what the chat room thinks. I'm thinking of, and this is a project that we're looking at down the road, making it something a little bit bigger, but I'm wondering for the rest of April what the chat room thinks. I was thinking of maybe of making WoW and I know it's late to do the WoW boat, to catch the WoW boat and the hype and stuff like that, but to try out this idea of playing one game exclusively, which I did this 1 week, but that was for coverage reasons, right? For Xbox One Neverwinter. If I played WoW for the rest of the month, I currently have 2,000 gold on my character. How would I do playing that game exclusively? Is this something that is easily accessible for the majority of people? So chat room, let me know what you think in the chat room, and we'll see whether or not I should do that for the rest of April as we move on with some other stories here on the show. What do you think, Bill? Should I try it?
I think as long as
you're late for WoW.
No, I think as long as you're willing to make that the main game that you play for the rest of the month, you might be able to swing it. I think that 30,000 gold is, for someone like you and me, that's a lot. A healthy amount of play. And
no begging. I'm not going to sit on the streets of Orgrimmar and shake my bonbon on top of the mailbox and beg for money.
Made a promise on a podcast. Need gold to fulfill.
My little holy cow.
Yeah.
I can't believe I just said shaking my bonbon. Moving along.
I was trying to move past that. Moving along. Elite Dangerous moved along. They moved right along onto Steam, of all places. Now, most of the time, we don't actually make a big deal about games appearing on Steam, but Elite Dangerous kind of made a great big show at the tail end of their development of saying, yeah, we thought about going on Steam, but now you're not. So everybody who's pre-ordered on Steam, you're out of luck. You get your money back, but that's it. And they said, no Steam, we hate Steam, we want to go on our own. They didn't say we hate Steam, but they were really committed to going on their own and selling through their own Frontier store and everything like that. Well, lo and behold, April rolls around and bang, Elite Dangerous lands on Steam. And now it's provided a big, huge influx of players. Like anecdotally, just talking to other people, reading threads and that kind of thing, there's a ton more people in the populated areas in Elite Dangerous. I know that sounds a little bit redundant, but it's a big game. It's actually kind of a big deal when you come across other players. So it's been a nice influx, but there's a lot of kind of rumblings of people saying, well, I bought the game thinking that it wasn't going to be integrated in Steam, but now I kind of wish I'd waited. And people who want to be able to have it nicely integrate into their Steam list so they can count up the hours that they've played Elite, and so that they can kind of compare their stats and their gameplay with their friends and do the Steam stream and all the other kind of stuff that you can do through Steam.
A lot of people like the overlay as well.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's a bunch of bonuses in Steam, like especially for like one of the threads I read kind of made the point that if you're a very casual gamer or you're a casual Steam user or something like that, you're probably not going to see the difference. Or if Elite Dangerous is the only game you play, you probably won't be a big deal. But for the kind of power gaming crew out there that has hundreds of games in their Steam list and hundreds of people in their Steam friends list, this is actually a pretty significant thing, and there's actually people who are considering double paying just to get their game on Steam and do that. So
this was a big deal too when ESO went to Steam, and there was the same discussion about linking it and it's hours played. But is it like Steam cards as well, or like what else is it that because you don't get Steam cards for a game if you add it as a third-party game in Steam, right? Like you don't get all those benefits. Even if you add it as because I've got a whole bunch of games because I was testing out Steam streaming up to my laptop upstairs, and so I added these games that weren't Steam games, and I was able to stream and stuff like that. But I didn't get like any of these sort of other aspects of it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, a lot of people like the communities that pop up around games, like the Steam communities and the forums there. A lot of people like the ratings as well. Like a lot of people read Steam reviews and enjoy those. And I don't know. Yeah. Like I said, I don't think I fall quite enough into the category of being a really heavy Steam user to see the big deal. But to me, it's just it's an interesting story because of the complete about face that they did in a matter of 4 months.
Right.
In terms of their Steam policy.
Yeah. I mean, there's also other services. You could use Raptor for tracking your game time if you really want to do that, which is what I do. I use Raptor.
Just a stopwatch if you want.
Yeah, you could.
But, yeah.
But
now, one thing they have said is on Twitter is that because of the feedback they've heard so far, they're considering handing out Steam keys to the people who want them.
Right.
So if you've already bought the game and you have an account that you'd get a Steam key that you can use to activate your game on Steam.
But I believe that there's still a service fee for the company to Steam. Like if Frontier gives out a key for Elite Dangerous, Steam still gets their full cut of what that would have cost. So that's not. That's a really big thing for them to mention, like for them to offer or to even consider. I hope that players realize that.
And we are talking about a game that probably has a player base in the tens of thousands, like maybe 100,000. So which is probably a big success for them, but probably not. It still makes it a big enough hit that if they have to fork over $5 for 20,000 users to start playing on Steam. That's a healthy chunk of change.
Well, just for comparison, for example, on Reddit, the people were posting sales numbers and stuff like that, and I guess you can get that through Steam somehow and see how many people bought the game. But, there was a really congratulatory post for Elite Dangerous saying, wow, 12,000 games sold on Steam since it's available or whatever.
On day one.
Yeah. And the same one for Elder Scrolls Online was 80,000. Right, so Elite is a little bit of the scrappy not startup, but it's not the big mega monster thing that other games are. So
it's a niche game too. Like it's as you'll see from the Steam reviews, it's not a game. It's not like a high energy game. It's not a game that's kind of like a high adrenaline game. It's a planning game. It's I don't want to say the combat is chess-like, but it's not a Twitch game.
Well, once you get to the combat, I mean, combat is space combat. It feels very much like space combat, but that is the 0.001% of your time. All the other stuff in between is you have to be okay with that.
Is planning and doing sales routes and transporting yourself to where there's political conflicts and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's
or figuring out how to fire your guns.
Everybody spends their time differently. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. All right, we're going to move on to our last little bit of story here. And this is something that I talked about with the Rift crew over at PAX East. And this is about converting Hammernell into an instant adventure. So the instant adventure system is basically an LFG for mini quests out in the world. And what they've done in the past is they chain these few quests in a zone. So you do your instant adventure, you queue that you want it. They put you in a raid group in that zone, and you're doing quests from place to place to place. Kill this many of this, close this many rifts of this, do this, do that, and you're running around and doing that. It's very quick. It's very chained, and then once you're done that zone's quests for instant adventure, it teleports you to the next spot. And you do that until you're done, then you leave the group, and it teleports you right back where you started. Well, they're going to add Hammernell, which was the third major, River of Souls, then Hammernell. So the second major raid in Rift. And you're going to be able to go in there. It is a modified version. It is scalable like all Instant Adventure, and it is on the same loot table as Instant Adventure. So you're not going to get raid level. It's not like LFR in WoW, where you're getting the sort of a half tier down from what the raiders are getting. Mm-hmm. It is...
It's a way of getting that content, though, that, as we've talked about before... Yes!
Yeah. A variation of that content, yes, yeah.
Yes, it's a variation so that people can actually do the exploration if there's story elements to the raid, that they get, that they can actually see that story unfold instead of just having to go read the lore pages and that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
And I think it's a good thing, and I like more games to do that. I know that Guild Wars 2 is actually doing something a little bit similar with the final story dungeon, the what is it? The Aura dungeon that you do as the final step of your season 1 story. They're going to be implementing a change where you can actually solo or duo that, and just to make sure that people are actually finishing their story, because right now the only way you can finish that season is by doing a 5-man dungeon to complete your story quest. And I think there's probably a ton of people like yours truly that just haven't got around to that.
Yeah. So this is a good move, I think, in the right direction. It is with the current vein of content at your fingertips that MMOs seem to be following, and I don't really have a problem with that. None at all. All right, let's talk about our sponsors really, really quickly. We've got our longtime sponsor, Audible. Go to audibletrial.com/MMO Reporter, and you too can sign up and get a free audiobook. Go check it out. You can check out all sorts of different audiobooks that they've got there. Also, Doghouse Systems. Go to doghousesystems.com. Use the coupon code MMO Reporter, and they will add a 120 gigabyte SSD to your purchase for absolutely nothing. So go check them out, our friends over at doghousesystems.com.
I played to max level in this week's beta. Killed lots of monsters and found some awesome loot. I had some great fun in this week's beta. And I grew attached to my little virtual dude. So I ask, please don't delete my guy after beta. Please don't.
All right, Bill, it is your favorite time of the year. That's right, it's time for April Fools. I think we used to record on Wednesday nights. April Fools has often been around then. We didn't do anything this year for April Fools, although I did hear, quite by coincidence, that there were some medical issues and audio issues over on Guild Wars Reporter. If you want to check out their April 1st episode, something happened there. I don't know what it was. If you are a League of Legends player, of course you remember the awfulness, the horribleness that was last year's URF, Ultra Rapid Fire Mode. It was where they on April 1st were talking about taking away all mana, no cooldowns, and boosting run speed, movement speed, and all that. So they have a return to that sort of this year with this year's April 1st announcement. They don't have the return of Earth, but they did bring back Nerf, the new ultra rapid fire, which was a increase in cooldowns, a decrease in movement speed, and get it, Nerf.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, we're moving along, aren't we? Yeah. All right. So from the wonderful people over at Blizzard, we also had B-motes. That's right. Emotes aren't enough for you. You need B-motes. They've got the Tavern Banter pack for Hearthstone. And they've got the my favorite is at the bottom here. The battle.net chat. So I don't know if you're going to be able to see this in the chat, but I'm going to type in "you are a moron." And it says in chat, "You are a savant." I'm going to type in "I hate you. I conceivably could love you." And it changes all that sort of stuff. Let me type in something really horrible, which of course everyone has heard on WoW and in dungeons and stuff like that. You should stop playing the game now. Oh, you should stop playing the game now.
Yeah, some of them
You
don't.
suck. You rock. Hey, look at that. But yeah. Go die, which has also been said. No, go live. Go live. I'm going to say go live. Not go. They want you to go live. Yeah.
I put "go away" and it translated into "goodbye, dear friend" or "potential friend."
Yeah. They also, of course, for your wonderful Garrison followers, because I know, Bill, that's pretty much all you do now in game, isn't it? In WoW, is Garrison.
I think my Garrison followers are missing me, actually.
Yeah. So you can get a Tinder box, and you too, your followers can swipe right. I got you, didn't I?
Yeah, that's actually the Tinder one was not bad. I didn't mind the Tinder bit. That was not a bad one. So we'll have a link to that in the show notes as well.
Yeah, I have to say I was a little bit of a fan of the Hearthstone patch notes. They remastered the classic card back because it's been waiting for an HD update, right?
Yeah.
And where is it here? Mark of the Wild has been renamed George of the Wild. Or no, Hunter's Marked has been renamed Hunter's George. Mark of the Wild has been renamed George of the Wild. Mark of Nature has been renamed George of Nature. We like George more than Mark. Mark still owes us $20. The spell Blizzard now causes enemies minions to attack soon. TM. Right. Yeah, a new Hearthstone miniseries was in the works titled Portrait, The Last Spellbender, but everything changed when the fireball attacked.
Azure Drake has been renamed Blue Drake because no one says Azure correctly.
Call pet card text now reads, "Hello, this is dog." So that one was actually pretty funny. I like that. Although I think what I really want to do is I need to order Legacy of the Void. You don't like this one?
No, this is dumb.
Oh, come on. You can get your own full life-sized Spear of Adun spaceship just for pre-ordering. Delivery date, they've got I don't know if you noticed the asterisk at the bottom. This might be a little bit of a bummer for you. Delivery, estimated completion date 23/15. So you'll have to wait a little bit. I hope you've got patience.
I take that as a challenge. I am going to live to be 350 years old and be complaining about the fact that my ship is not here yet.
Okay, I do not understand, and maybe you can tell me as the old curmudgeon of the group, you can tell me why people got upset about the Guild Wars 2 airplane. Well, basically, they made people run around with their arms out and making vroom, 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 like plane sounds.
I think it was just because you couldn't turn it off. So for like 15 minutes, it's hilarious. and then if you're playing for an hour, you're still doing it, and your arms are out, so your animations are wrong, and I mean, you could turn off the sepia filter and everything like that. That was easy enough, but I think it was the noise that you couldn't turn off.
But you could totally do a flying ducks formation and score the goal.
Mm-hmm.
No? Oh, okay.
No,
All
that
right.
was okay. I actually really enjoyed the plane sounds. I felt like I was a kid. I liked it.
Good man, good man. There was another one that you also enjoyed. Why don't you talk about the next one here?
Oh, this is just the Star Wars one. This is just a funny screenshot. The mega mount of the Jedi sitting on top of what's the name of that big giant carrier? I should know this.
Sandcrawler.
Thank you. The Sandcrawler. It's just a funny screenshot of making it look like a mount. I liked it. So you've got mega mounts, you've got micro mounts that you just sit on, and then you've got stationary mounts, which is a dude sitting on a log,
on a
which is
tree stump. Yeah, a log.
To be fair, the log looks a little bit like a speeder. I could see it.
A little bit. Yep.
I like it.
Yeah, I like that one too. And I think though the winner of my favorite one was the MechWarrior Online one. Mostly just because it was awesome and it referenced The Last Starfighter. Mm-hmm. So let me just skip ahead in this video here. Oh, wait. No, I went too far. Okay, here we go. We've got the urban mech. And it comes out, and oh no, it's surrounded. I have to do this for the audio listeners. It's surrounded by enemy mechs that are at least twice its size. Whatever will it do, Bill? Are you worried? I'm worried. I'm scared for it. Urban mech is going to get got. And it's going to be bad.
I don't see him having any chance here.
No chance whatsoever. And then Death Blossom! It's kind of awesome. And everybody dies. And it's Death Blossom, so it's awesome. You don't seem as impressed as I am.
Did you know that one of the thief attacks in Guild Wars 2 is called Death Blossom?
Is it?
True story.
It's no MechWarrior Online.
It's
just another game that I want to play more. Darn it! Yeah. Life. You suck. All right. You want to do this last quick mention here that we've got? This is no longer April Fool's related.
Yeah, just a quick mention here for all you DDO people out there, and Chris and I are legacy DDO players. We always talk about how about going back and trying it again and never do. But their latest update, which includes the Temple of Elemental Evil dungeon, which all you hardcore D&Ders will be familiar with, is going to be added to the game. And as a bonus, the DM narration for the Temple of Elemental Evil is being done by none other than Will Wheaton.
Yay! I still remember the very moment when we went into that dungeon where it was Gary Gygax that was the guest DM. And that you and me, the girls were I think Asani was a little bit more interested, but Selene was just like, what? Who? Whoa, oh, that's okay, cool, I guess. But you and I were like, oh my God, it's Gary Gygax, oh my God.
It was an awesome move. I mean, I think I should have known, but I was surprised to hear him, and that was very cool.
It was very cool. So Will Wheaton, also very, very, very. I'd even add another very in there because I think it's that cool.
I watched the Will Wheaton tabletop episode where they played Cards Against Humanity.
Ah, yes.
That's worth watching as long as you just don't want to like anybody on that show ever.
I played Cards Against Humanity the other day with my sister-in-law and her fiance and her son and Selene and I, and it was horrible and wonderful.
It's a little bit different when you're playing with family, isn't it?
We were thinking of getting my in-laws to try and play, and it was just nobody could quite get the nerve to get them to say, "Hey, come on, play."
I played with my brother and sister and their spouses over the Christmas holidays, and my dad was sniffing around saying, "Oh, can I play?" And we said, "No, you can't."
Yeah, I totally agree.
Go find something else to do. You
Please,
can't play.
preferably not in earshot. Do not hear what we say. Yeah. Anyways, we are at showtime here. We have gone through an entire show, and we managed to survive without Leonor and Harry. I don't know what's wrong with us.
I'd say thrive.
I would say so as well. Bill, thank you for steering this hot tub time machine right.
There we go.
All right, Bill, if people do want to get a hold of us, maybe they need some hot tub repair or something like that, how would they get a hold of us?
Well, you click on the hot tub repair link over on MMOReporter.com. That will take you exactly where you expect to go.
Oh, wait, hold on. Bill, 2-1, Canucks.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
I think you, yeah.
You weren't just taping that, were you?
Sorry?
Were you taping that? And did I just
no,
totally
not at
wreck
all.
it for you? Okay.
I thought that it was obvious the game ended, actually. I wasn't exactly sneaky about it.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Anyway, send us an email.
I thought you were really excited about content.
I was really excited about content, totally, yeah. MMO.reporter@gmail.com is the email where you will find us. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/MMO Reporter. You can tweet at any of the MMO reporters, either at MMO_reporter, at the in absentia Harry Hall. You can wish him luck on his stage performance. That's going to be a pretty exciting thing for him. You can tweet at Leonor for Leonor or at MMO Bill for yours truly. You can give us a call at 616-666-6778. Leave us a voicemail. Tell us what you think. Tell us if you enjoyed April Fool's Day or if you're just glad it's over like me. You can find us over on Zerg ID and see what's happening there. I'm a light Zerg ID user, but getting there. My Zerg ID is WOW, W-E-A-U-X. You can find Chris as Almazar and Leonor as, predictably, Leonor. You can find us on YouTube, youtube.com/user/MMO Reporter Network, and you can head over to the MMOReporter.com/support section of our site if you're looking for ways to feed us a little bit of support to help us keep the site going. And as we mentioned before, patreon.com/MMO Reporter if you would like to be a patron for the show, like 25 awesome people have already done.
25 of my closest friends.
Yeah.
Thanks, patrons. All right, Bill, it has been an absolutely wonderful show. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chris.
And thanks to everyone for coming to the very lively chat room tonight. It's been fun. Thank you to Hagu, Aker, and Odie Joe, and Lily Kate Buggins. A whole bunch of people who helped us out in the chat room tonight with some fact-finding. Much appreciated. And, of course, thanks to everyone for downloading the podcast week after week. It is ever so appreciated. We hope that you download the podcast again next week, but most importantly, we hope to see you in game.
Don't forget about your ults you need to cherish. Each and every little character you've got, no matter what level they're at. Don't forget about your ults you need to cherish. Each and every